The day started like any other for Sarah Chen, lead scientist at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. She sipped her coffee, scrolling through the latest data from Mars rovers. But at 9:17 a.m., everything changed. A loud boom shook the building. Sarah rushed to the window. Her jaw dropped. A massive silver ship hovered over the parking lot. It was easily the size of a football field. "Holy shit," she whispered. Panic spread through the office. People ran around, shouting and pointing. Sarah's phone buzzed. It was a government alert. Remain calm. Alien visitors HFY. This is not a drill. Similar scenes played out across the globe. In New York, Tokyo, London, and every major city, enormous ships appeared out of nowhere. The world held its breath, waiting to see if these visitors came in peace or war. Hours passed. The ships just floated there, silent and still. Then, at exactly noon GMT, they opened. Ramps extended from each ship. Tall, humanoid figures walked out. They had blue skin and large, dark eyes. They wore simple white robes. In Washington, D.C., President Thompson watched from the White House lawn. His security team surrounded him, guns ready. But the aliens made no aggressive moves. One alien stepped forward. It spoke, its voice deep and clear. "People of Earth," it said in perfect English, "we are the Galactic Empire. We come with a message of utmost importance." The alien paused, its eyes scanning the crowd. "Stay away from Earth." Confusion rippled through the onlookers. Stay away from Earth. But this was their home. The alien continued, "This is not a threat. It is a warning for your own safety. Leave this planet. Colonize the stars. But do not remain here." With that, the alien turned and walked back into the ship. Within minutes, all the ships across the world took off. They vanished as quickly as they had appeared. President Thompson stood frozen, trying to process what just happened. His chief of staff approached. "Sir," she said, "what do we do?" The president took a deep breath. "Call an emergency UN meeting and get me the heads of NASA and SpaceX on the line. We need to talk about space colonization." Over the next few days, the world erupted into chaos. Some people panicked, rushing to build underground bunkers. Others celebrated, believing this was the push humanity needed to reach the stars. Debates raged on every TV channel and social media platform. What did the warning mean? Why should they leave Earth? Was there a hidden danger they didn't know about? In a small apartment in Chicago, Mike Reeves watched the news with growing excitement. He had always dreamed of going to space. Now, it seemed like that dream might come true. "This is our chance," he told his skeptical wife. "We could be part of the first wave of colonists. Imagine living on Mars." But not everyone shared Mike's enthusiasm. In rural Kansas, farmer John Miller loaded his shotgun. "Ain't no alien gonna tell me to leave my land," he grumbled to his wife. "This is our home, damn it." As governments scrambled to develop space programs, scientists worked overtime trying to uncover any hidden threats on Earth. They scanned for unusual radiation, searched for buried artifacts, and analyzed every inch of the planet. Sarah Chen led one of these teams. She spent long nights poring over data, looking for anything out of the ordinary. But so far, they had found nothing. 1 month after the visit, world leaders gathered at the UN to discuss their plans. Some countries wanted to ignore the warning and stay on Earth. Others were already planning mass evacuations to space colonies. The debate grew heated. Just as it seemed they might reach an agreement, an aide rushed in with shocking news. "Mr. Secretary General," he said, his voice shaking, "we've just detected multiple objects entering the solar system at high speed. They'll reach Earth in less than 24 hours. The room fell silent. Was this the reason for the warning? Had they waited too long to leave? As the objects drew closer, humanity faced its greatest test. Would they stand their ground on Earth? Or would they heed the warning and flee to the stars? The clock was ticking, and the fate of the human race hung in the balance. 5 years had passed since the aliens' cryptic warning. The world had changed dramatically. Humanity was in the middle of the greatest migration in its history. On a chilly morning in Kazakhstan, Elena Petrova stood in line with thousands of others. They were waiting to board the massive spacecraft that would take them to Mars. Elena clutched her small bag of belongings, her heart racing with a mix of fear and excitement. "Next," called a voice. Elena stepped forward. The officer scanned her ID chip. "Elena Petrova, age 28, engineer. You're cleared for boarding. Section C, Pod 42. Elena nodded and moved on. As she walked up the ramp into the ship, she took one last look at Earth. Tears welled up in her eyes. Would she ever see her home planet again? Meanwhile, in Houston, Texas, NASA's Mission Control was a hive of activity. Screens showed dozens of ships in various stages of launch and transit. Mike Chen, now the head of interplanetary operations, barked orders into his headset. "We've got a problem with the life support systems on Luna Base," he said. "Divert the next supply ship there instead of Mars." His assistant nodded, quickly typing commands into her console. The Luna Base, humanity's first permanent settlement on the Moon, had grown from a small research station to a thriving community of 10,000 people. It served as a jumping-off point for missions to Mars and the asteroid belt. Back on Earth, not everyone was eager to leave. In the countryside of France, Pierre Dubois tended to his vineyard. He had no plans to abandon the land his family had worked for generations. "Let them go to space," he muttered, plucking a ripe grape. "I'll stay here with my vines and my wine." But Pierre was in the minority. Governments worldwide had poured trillions into space programs. New technologies were developed at breakneck speed. Ion drives, radiation shields, and artificial gravity made long-distance space travel possible. In orbit around Earth, massive space stations served as construction yards for interplanetary ships. Thousands of workers in sleek spacesuits moved like ants, assembling the vessels that would carry humanity to the stars. On Mars, the first domes of New Houston gleamed under the alien sun. Inside, Sarah Chen, from Part 1, now led a team of scientists studying the planet's core. They hoped to find a way to terraform Mars, to make it more like Earth. "We're making progress," Sarah told her team during a meeting. "But it's going to take decades, maybe centuries, to make Mars truly habitable." One of her assistants raised a hand. "But what if the aliens were wrong? What if there's no real danger on Earth?" Sarah sighed. It was a question she'd heard many times. "We can't take that chance," she said. "Besides, look at what we've achieved in just 5 years. We're expanding into the solar system. This is humanity's future." Not everyone shared Sarah's optimism. On Earth, protests against the space program grew larger every day. People were angry that so many resources were being poured into space while problems on Earth went unsolved. In New York City, a massive crowd gathered in Times Square. They carried signs that read "Earth First" and "No More Rockets." The protest leader, a charismatic woman named Zora, stood on a makeshift stage. "They tell us to abandon our home," she shouted into a megaphone. "But I say Earth is worth fighting for. We won't let some alien threat scare us away." The crowd roared in agreement. Police in riot gear watched nervously from the sidelines. As tensions rose on Earth, a new problem emerged in space. The asteroid mining operations, crucial for providing resources to the growing colonies, were falling behind schedule. In the asteroid belt, Captain Jack Harper of the mining ship Prospector faced a difficult decision. His crew was exhausted, working around the clock to meet quotas. "We can't keep this up," his first officer said. "The men are at their breaking point." Jack nodded grimly. "I know, but if we don't get these resources back to Mars and Luna, people will starve." He looked out the viewport at the endless field of asteroids. Somewhere out there were the metals and water they desperately needed. But at what cost? As humanity spread across the solar system, new challenges arose daily. Resources were stretched thin. Political tensions between Earth and the colonies grew. And always, in the back of everyone's mind, was the aliens' warning. What danger lurked on Earth? When would it reveal itself? And would humanity be ready when it did? The exodus continued, driven by fear, hope, and the indomitable human spirit of exploration. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear: there was no going back. Humanity's destiny lay among the stars. 10 years had passed since the exodus began. Humanity had spread across the solar system, but Earth remained a mystery. Until now. Dr. Aisha Patel stood in the control room of the Mars Research Center, her eyes fixed on the large screen before her. The image showed a cross-section of Earth, but something was different. A strange, pulsing light appeared at the planet's core. "What am I looking at?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Her colleague, Dr. Tom Chen, zoomed in on the image. "We're not sure. Our new deep scanning technology just picked it up. Whatever it is, it's not natural." Aisha's mind raced. Could this be what the aliens had warned them about? Meanwhile, on Earth, a team of scientists led by Dr. James Wilson was preparing for a dangerous mission. They were going to drill deeper into the Earth's crust than ever before. As the massive drill bit into the ground, James watched the monitors nervously. They had been at it for weeks, going deeper and deeper. Suddenly, an alarm blared. "We've hit something," shouted one of the technicians. It's not rock." James leaned in, his eyes widening. The drill camera showed a smooth metallic surface. "My God," he breathed. "It's artificial." News of the discovery spread like wildfire. Within hours, every colony in the solar system was buzzing with excitement and fear. On the moon, in the bustling corridors of Luna City, Mike Chen, from Part 2, watched the news with a mix of awe and dread. He turned to his wife, Elena Petrova, from Part 2. "We left Earth to avoid danger," he said, "but it looks like we've been living above it all along." Elena nodded, her face pale. "What do you think it is?" Before Mike could answer, their daughter Sophia burst into the room. At 8 years old, she had never set foot on Earth. "Mom, Dad," she exclaimed, "is it true? Is Earth really a giant spaceship?" Mike and Elena exchanged glances. How could they explain something they didn't understand themselves? Back on Mars, Aisha and her team worked around the clock to analyze the data from Earth. As more information came in, a terrifying picture began to emerge. "It's not just at the core," Aisha told the emergency council meeting. "There's a network of these devices throughout the planet. They're all connected, all part of one massive system." The council members murmured in shock. The leader, a stern woman named Victoria, leaned forward. "And what is this system for, Dr. Patel?" Aisha took a deep breath. "Based on our analysis, we believe Earth is some kind of superweapon." The room erupted in chaos. Voices shouted over each other, demanding explanations, proposing actions. Victoria banged her gavel, calling for order. "We need more information," she declared. "Dr. Patel, assemble a team. You're going back to Earth." On Earth, the discovery had thrown the remaining population into turmoil. Some saw it as a sign to leave the planet immediately. Others viewed it as a reason to stay and protect Earth from those who might want to use its power. In New York, Zara, the protest leader from Part 2, addressed a massive crowd. "This is why we were meant to stay," she shouted. "Earth chose us as its guardians. We cannot abandon our duty." The crowd cheered, but not everyone was convinced. Governments worldwide struggled to maintain order as riots broke out in major cities. In orbit around Earth, the long-dormant ships of the Galactic Empire suddenly came to life. They had been waiting, watching. Now, with the discovery of Earth's true nature, they could no longer stay silent. A message was broadcast to every human settlement in the solar system. You were warned. You have awakened something beyond your comprehension. Prepare yourselves. As panic spread through human colonies, a small team of brave scientists prepared to return to Earth. Led by Aisha, they would dive into the heart of the planet, seeking answers to humanity's greatest mystery. On the eve of their departure, Aisha stood alone in the observation deck of their ship, staring at the blue marble that was Earth. So beautiful, yet so dangerous. What secrets did it hold? And more importantly, could humanity handle the truth? As their ship began its descent towards Earth, Aisha couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the brink of something monumental. Whatever they discovered down there would change the course of human history forever. The fate of Earth, and perhaps the entire galaxy, now rested in their hands. The world held its breath as Dr. Aisha Patel and her team descended into the depths of Earth. Their mission: to uncover the truth about the planet's hidden core. After days of careful digging and scanning, they finally reached their goal. Aisha gasped as she stepped into a vast, glowing chamber. The walls pulsed with strange symbols and intricate machinery. It's beautiful," whispered Dr. Tom Chen, his eyes wide with wonder. But their awe quickly turned to fear as they realized what they were looking at. Earth wasn't just a superweapon. It was a doomsday device capable of destroying entire galaxies. As news of their discovery spread, humanity faced its greatest dilemma yet. What should they do with this immense power? On Mars, the newly formed Galactic Council debated furiously. Representatives from Earth, Mars, Luna, and the asteroid belts all had different opinions. "We must destroy it," shouted the Martian delegate, pounding his fist on the table. "It's too dangerous to exist." "Are you mad?" countered Elena Petrova, now Luna's chief engineer. "We can't just blow up Earth. It's our home." "Was our home," corrected Mike Chen, representing the asteroid colonies. "Now it's the biggest threat we've ever faced." The debate raged on, with no clear solution in sight. Meanwhile, on Earth, a different kind of struggle was taking place. Zara, the charismatic leader of the Earth First movement, rallied her followers. "They want to destroy our planet," she cried to a massive crowd. "But we won't let them. Earth's power belongs to us. We'll use it to protect ourselves from any alien threats." The crowd roared in agreement, but not everyone was convinced. In a small apartment in what was left of New York City, Jack Harper, the former asteroid miner from Part 2, watched the rally on TV with growing concern. "They're going to get us all killed," he muttered to his wife, Sarah. Sarah nodded grimly. "Maybe it's time we joined the off-world colonies after all." As humans argued among themselves, the Galactic Empire grew increasingly nervous. Their ships hovered at the edge of the solar system, weapons primed. Admiral Zach Still, the blue-skinned alien leader, paced the bridge of his flagship. "We should never have left them alone," he growled. "Prepare the fleet. If the humans can't handle this responsibly, we'll have to intervene." Back in the council chambers on Mars, the debate had reached a fever pitch. Suddenly, a young scientist named Liam stood up. "Wait," he shouted, silencing the room. What if we could control it?" All eyes turned to him. Liam gulped nervously but continued. "If Earth is a machine, we could learn to use it. Not as a weapon, but as a tool for good." The idea spread like wildfire. Could humanity harness the power of Earth for peaceful purposes, to terraform planets, to travel faster than light, to unlock the secrets of the universe? But with great power came great risk. If they made even the smallest mistake, they could accidentally trigger Earth's destructive capabilities. As the council debated this new possibility, Dr. Aisha Patel and her team continued their research in Earth's core. They discovered that the ancient alien technology was incredibly complex, beyond anything humans had ever seen. "It's like trying to understand a computer with stone tools," Aisha explained in a video call to the council. "We're making progress, but it could take years, maybe decades, to fully comprehend this technology." Time, however, was not on their side. The Galactic Empire's patience was wearing thin. They demanded that humans make a decision. destroy Earth, or abandon it completely. Humanity stood at a crossroads. Should they destroy their homeworld to keep its power out of dangerous hands, abandon it and seek their future among the stars, or take the risky path of trying to control a power they barely understood? As the deadline set by the Empire approached, tensions reached a boiling point. Riots broke out in the off-world colonies. On Earth, Zora's followers prepared for war, ready to defend their planet against all comers. In the midst of this chaos, a small group of scientists, led by Aisha and Liam, worked tirelessly to find a solution. They believed that with careful study and cooperation, humanity could rise to this challenge. But would they have enough time? And even if they did master Earth's power, would humanity use it wisely? Or would the temptation of galactic domination prove too strong to resist? The fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy hung in the balance. And the clock was ticking. As debates raged across the solar system, a small group of humans decided to take matters into their own hands. Led by the fiery Zora, they called themselves Earth's Guardians. On a stormy night, Zara and her team snuck past the global security forces guarding the entrance to Earth's core. Their mission: to activate the planet's hidden power and use it to protect humanity. "We're doing this for all of us," Zara whispered to her second-in-command, a ex-soldier named Rex. "Earth's power belongs to humans, not some alien empire." Meanwhile, in the Mars Control Center, alarms blared. Dr. Aisha Patel stared at the screens in horror. "Someone's breached the core facility," she shouted. Mike Chen, now head of system-wide security, sprung into action. "Lock down all transport from Earth now." But it was too late. Zara and her team had already reached the heart of the ancient machine. As Zara approached the glowing central console, she hesitated. The alien symbols pulsed with an eerie light. "Are we sure about this?" Rex asked, his voice shaking. Zara nodded grimly. "It's now or never." She reached out and pressed her hand against the console. The effect was immediate and terrifying. The ground shook violently. Across the globe, volcanoes erupted and sun emissions rose from calm seas. In space, the Galactic Empire ships moved closer to Earth, weapons charged. Admiral Zaxtil's voice boomed across all communication channels. "Humans, you were warned. You leave us no choice but to intervene." Panic spread through human colonies. On Luna, Alina Petrova hugged her daughter Sophia tightly as they watched the news. "Mom, are we going to be okay?" Sophia asked, her eyes wide with fear. Alina forced a smile. "Of course, sweetie. Humanity has faced big challenges before. We'll get through this too." Back on Earth, Zara realized she had made a terrible mistake. The machine was far more complex than she had imagined. Instead of giving them control, it was tearing the planet apart. "We have to shut it down," she yelled over the rumbling of the Earth. But as they tried to deactivate the console, they found themselves locked out. In orbit, the first shots were fired. Empire ships clashed with human defense forces. The space around Earth lit up with explosions. On Mars, the Galactic Council scrambled to find a solution. Aisha and Liam worked frantically to understand the alien technology. "If we can just decode these symbols," Liam muttered, "we might be able to shut it down remotely." As battles raged in space and chaos engulfed Earth, a surprising ally emerged. Jack Harper, the former asteroid miner, had been quietly studying the alien tech for years. He contacted the Mars team with a bold plan. "We can't shut it down," he explained, his gruff voice filled with urgency. "But we might be able to redirect its energy. Turn Earth's weapon into a shield." It was a long shot, but they were out of options. As Empire forces pushed closer to Earth, Aisha, Liam, and Jack worked tirelessly to reprogram the ancient machine. On Earth, Zara and her team fought to survive as the planet crumbled around them. The oceans boiled, and the sky turned an angry red. "What have we done?" Rex cried out in despair. Zora's eyes flashed with determination. "We're not done yet. If we can reach the secondary control room, we might be able to help the Mars team." As they battled through collapsing tunnels and fiery chasms, Zara realized the true meaning of the alien warning. Earth wasn't just a superweapon. It was a test to see if humanity was ready for the power it held. In space, Admiral Zach still watched the unfolding chaos with a mix of awe and fear. "These humans," he muttered, "they're either going to destroy us all or save the galaxy." The fate of Earth, humanity, and perhaps the entire universe now rested on a razor's edge. Could the combined efforts of Aisha's team on Mars, Jack's expertise from the asteroids, and Zara's determination on Earth be enough to avert disaster? As a massive energy wave built up within the planet's core, everyone held their breath. The next few moments would determine whether humanity would rise to become a galactic power or be wiped from existence. The rebellion had started this crisis. Now it was up to all of humanity, working together, to end it. The Earth shuddered and groaned. Cities crumbled as the ground beneath them shifted. Oceans rose and fell in massive waves. The sky burned with an eerie red glow. Earth was awakening, and humanity faced its greatest challenge yet. In the depths of the planet's core, Zara and her team fought against time. They had reached the secondary control room, but the alien technology was beyond their understanding. "We need to connect with the Mars team," Zara shouted over the rumbling. Rex, his face covered in sweat and grime, worked furiously on a makeshift communication device. Meanwhile, on Mars, Dr. Aisha Patel and Liam raced against the clock. The holographic display of Earth pulsed with alarming intensity. "The energy buildup is off the charts," Liam said, his voice shaking. "If we don't do something soon, Earth will tear itself apart." Jack Harper's gruff voice came through the speakers. "I've got an idea, but it's risky. We need to synchronize Earth's energy output with the planet's natural rhythms." In space, the battle raged on. Human ships, vastly outnumbered, fought desperately against the Galactic Empire's forces. Admiral Zach still watched from his flagship, his alien features twisted with concern. "These humans," he muttered, "they're more resilient than we thought." Suddenly, a massive energy wave erupted from Earth. It swept through the solar system, disabling ships from both sides. In the silence that followed, everyone held their breath. Back on Earth, Zara felt a strange sensation. The ground stopped shaking. The air grew still. And then she heard it, a deep, rhythmic pulsing, like a giant heartbeat. "The planet," she whispered in awe. "It's alive." On Mars, Aisha and Liam stared at their screens in disbelief. The chaotic energy patterns were settling into a steady, harmonious flow. "Jack, you did it," Aisha exclaimed. But Jack's voice was grim. "It wasn't me. Something else is happening." Across the solar system, humans and aliens alike watched in amazement as Earth began to change. The continents shifted, reforming into new shapes. The oceans glowed with bioluminescent life, and in the sky, the aurora borealis danced in colors never before seen. In Luna City, Elena Petrova hugged her daughter Sofia tightly as they watched the transformation on their view screen. "Mom," Sofia said, her eyes wide with wonder, "what's happening to Earth?" Elena shook her head, tears in her eyes. "I don't know, sweetie, but I think it's becoming something new." On the Mars base, Mike Chen received an urgent message. "Sir," a young technician said, "we're detecting life signs from Earth, billions of them, but they're different." Mike's jaw dropped. "Are you saying?" The technician nodded. "Yes, sir. It looks like Earth has created new life forms, and they're trying to communicate with us." In the depths of Earth's core, Zara and her team felt a presence surrounding them. It wasn't threatening, but it was overwhelmingly powerful. Suddenly, symbols on the alien consoles began to glow, and to their shock, they could understand them. "It's a message," Rex said, his voice filled with awe. "From Earth itself. The message spread across every communication channel, in every human language, and even in the Galactic Empire's alien tongues. I am Earth. I am awake. And you, my children, have passed the test. In his flagship, Admiral Zack still received the message. He fell to his knees, overwhelmed by its implications. The seed world, he gasped. It was real. And the humans, they've done it. As understanding dawned across the solar system, the fighting stopped. Human and alien ships hung motionless in space. On Mars, Luna, and the asteroid colonies, people emerged from shelters, looking to the blue-green jewel of Earth with new eyes. Aisha, tears streaming down her face, turned to Liam. Do you realize what this means? Earth wasn't a weapon. It was an incubator. For a new type of life. For us. Liam nodded, his voice choked with emotion. And we've just taken our first steps into a much larger universe. As the newly awakened Earth continued to transform, humanity faced a new future. They were no longer alone in the universe. They were no longer just inhabitants of a planet. They were the children of a living world, ready to take their place among the stars. The warning to stay away from Earth had not been a threat. It had been a challenge, and humanity, against all odds, had risen to meet it. The awakening was just the beginning, a new chapter in the story of humanity. And the galaxy was about to unfold. 5 years had passed since Earth's awakening. The solar system was a changed place. Humanity had not only survived but thrived, taking its first steps into a vast galactic community. On a clear day in New Terra, the first city built on the transformed Earth, Zara stood before a massive crowd. Once a rebel, she was now Earth's ambassador to the stars. Today, she announced, her voice carrying across the sea of faces, we welcome our new allies. May this mark the beginning of a new era of peace and understanding. As she spoke, a sleek ship descended from the sky. Its doors opened, revealing Admiral Zack Still and a delegation from the Galactic Empire. The crowd watched in awe as the blue-skinned aliens stepped onto Earth's soil. Meanwhile, on Mars, Dr. Aisha Patel and Liam worked tirelessly in their new research center. Holographic displays showed data streaming in from Earth's core. It's incredible, Liam said, shaking his head in wonder. The more we learn about Earth's transformation, the more questions we have. Aisha nodded, her eyes sparkling with excitement. And to think, this is just the beginning. Imagine what else is out there, waiting to be discovered. In orbit around Jupiter, a massive space station served as humanity's gateway to the outer solar system. Mike Chen, now head of interstellar operations, stood at the command center. He watched as ships from a dozen alien races docked at the station. Sir, a young officer reported, we're receiving a distress signal from a nearby star system. They're requesting our help. Mike smiled. Just a few years ago, humanity was struggling to survive. Now, they were in a position to help others. Prepare a rescue mission, he ordered. Let's show the galaxy what humans can do. Back on Earth, in the depths of the living planet's core, Rex led a team of human and alien scientists. They studied the ancient machinery that had transformed Earth, hoping to unlock its secrets. Suddenly, one of the alien consoles lit up. Strange symbols flashed across the screen. Rex's eyes widened as he realized what he was seeing. Get me Zara and Admiral Zack Still, he shouted. Now. In New Terra, the diplomatic reception was in full swing. Humans and aliens mingled, sharing stories and forging new friendships. Zara was deep in conversation with Zack Still when an aide rushed up, face pale. Madam Ambassador, Admiral, the aide said breathlessly, you're needed in the command center. It's urgent. Minutes later, Zara and Zack Still stood before a holographic display of the galaxy. Rex's voice came through, filled with a mix of excitement and fear. We've decoded more of the ancient data, he explained. Earth wasn't just a test. It was a warning. There's something out there, something ancient and powerful. And it's waking up. The room fell silent. Zara and Zaxtil exchanged glances. After a moment, Zara spoke. So, the real test begins now. Not just for humanity, but for all of us. Zaxtil nodded solemnly. Indeed. The question is, are we ready? As word spread across Earth and to the colonies, a new sense of purpose filled the air. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged stronger. Now, they had a chance to help save the galaxy. In Luna City, Elena Petrova watched her daughter Sofia prepare for her first day at the Galactic Academy. "Mom," Sofia said, her eyes shining, "do you think I'll get to explore new worlds someday?" Elena smiled, remembering her own journey from Earth to the stars. "I'm sure you will, sweetheart. The universe is waiting for you." Across the solar system, humans and their new alien allies began to prepare. Ships were built, defenses strengthened, and plans made. Whatever was coming, they would face it together. On the outer edges of the solar system, Jack Harper manned a deep space monitoring station. He gazed at the stars, thinking about how far humanity had come. From a species trapped on one world to guardians of a living planet, now ready to stand with other races against an unknown threat. As Jack watched, a faint signal appeared on his screen. Something was moving out there in the darkness between the stars. The next great adventure was about to begin. Back on Earth, Zara stood on a balcony overlooking New Terra. The city gleamed in the twilight, a testament to human resilience and ingenuity. She thought about the long journey that had brought them here, and the challenges that lay ahead. "We were told to stay away from Earth," she murmured to herself. "Instead, we became one with it. And now we'll carry its strength to the stars." As night fell, the transformed Earth pulsed with a soft, comforting glow. It was more than a planet now. It was a beacon of hope for the entire galaxy. And humanity, once a small, isolated species, now stood ready to play their part in a cosmic drama beyond their wildest dreams. The warning had become a calling, the danger an opportunity, and humanity's stand was just beginning.